right, today we have vocal powerhouse Kasey Karlsen on the show.
You're the villain, you're a serpent in disguise. 'Cause
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So, Kasey, you and I first met a while ago. Doing a film project. It was kind of cool because I don't know, we collaborated like remotely, you know, on the whole thing.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it was so sick to finally watch the film, and for anybody who doesn't know, it was a film called Replicator, and it's like a horror comedy. It was a great film, and myself and CJ were just very honored to be a part of it, and I actually have a little spoiler too. I will be acting in my own short film, not mine, but I will be acting in a short film literally next week, and we're gonna start getting that rolled out. So that's super cool too. So I found it
Awesome.
funny, like as soon as you asked like to collaborate, I was like, oh my god, yeah. And then I had this opportunity walk up on me too. I was like, oh my god, am I getting into the film world now? Because that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're a performer for sure. On stage and like in recording. So like, I mean, do you want to get into acting? Did you pursue it or just kind of like happened organically?
So it's so funny. I had always loved acting. Like the most experience I have with it though is like I had to be maybe 8 or 9, just in like my community theater, like not even like the school drama club. I was like, no, I don't even want to do that. But like I had always had an interest in like shows and TV and movies, and I always wanted to be in that kind of realm rather than the theater realm. But I still find it like super cool, and yeah, now I would love to get into acting. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Are there certain like genres that speak to you more than others?
Oh, totally. I mean, if I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but like my favorite series of all time is The Hunger Games. Like the books and the movies, I think they're absolutely phenomenal. Um, and I mean, I love like the dystopian sci-fi, like really moody. I love horror, which was amazing for Replicator. And I also, I don't know, like pretty much anything but comedy. I don't think I'm funny enough for that. So
Yeah, that's good. I tell you what, when we were, searching for artists to kind of like be in Replicator, like there was like you and then like everybody else. Like I was like so excited when you guys to like agreed to do it because like my second choice for that was like way below, like,
Aww.
and it's not because they were below. It's just that like you guys were so perfect, and I thought you had like such a cool like original sound. Like I grew up on, like all different types of like rock music, right? And when I like first heard you guys, just the combination of melodic stuff to aggressive stuff to storytelling to great you guys are great musicians that's like very tight and like put all together. I'm like, this is a group that like I can follow, and now I listen to you guys in my car, right? So like every time you guys like put something on, I'm like, oh, that's so fucking cool.
Dude, thank you
So
so much. Thank you. That's so nice of you to say. And like we were just so honored to be a part of it, just in general, especially because, I mean metal is popping the hell off right now. We saw Poppy at the Grammys, Courtney at the Grammys. We saw whole bunch of Gojira, we had a lot of people doing a lot of big stuff. And the fact that now we have metal and rock just constantly being like right at the foot of now pop and just regular hard rock is really crazy. And to think that a band as heavy as us is now getting placed in films such as Replicator is like, it's just a huge honor. So thank you for the opportunity.
yeah,
By the way, I don't even know if I ever said that to you. I feel like I did over text, but
yeah, no,
I never got to speak it to you. So thank you.
yeah, yeah, no, oh, you no, thank you for doing it. I think it really added a dimension and a character to the film that I don't think could have happened otherwise. So how did you get into this particular genre of music and finding your sound? And can you like walk us through like getting into like music and this particular type of music?
Definitely. I will say this. I think I was almost destined to be in this kind of realm, and the reason why is because there were so many avenues of like metal being put into my life where it was almost impossible to avoid it at that point. So first when I was younger, like my dad used to listen to rock music, nothing super crazy. Like he'd listen to, like Godsmack, Seether, Marilyn Manson, you know, like the certifiable dad rock, right? And you know, I would go onto work claims with him sometimes, and we'd just be like singing along. Um, I was like 6 in the back of his Mustang, so it was pretty fun. And then my parents got me and my brother just like a Wii, the old classic white Wii with the remotes and everything. And eventually we also had gotten Guitar Hero, which completely like took over me and my brother's attention span for years and years and years. Like I was playing Lacuna Coil, Paramore, Korn, Linkin Park, like you name it, like it was in the game, and I was trying to crush it as much as possible. Um, then for like I don't know, maybe 10 or so years, I completely had a disdain for metal. I still liked rock, like I'd still listen to 3 Days Grace and stuff, but like I was like, nah, dude, this screaming stuff is horrible. Like it's not even music, like terrible, awful. I hated it. Um, and then my brother starts going to the gym, and my brother also starts picking up actual guitar. And so he's cranking his amp. Our rooms were right next to each other. Like this was his old room, and my room was like right there. So he was just like playing the guitar all day, all night, constantly. That was the only thing that he did when he woke up until he went to bed, besides like school. And I'd be like, you know, man, can I swear, by the way? Okay.
Yep.
I was like,
I
you
mean,
know, man.
I swore like 4 times already, so I was like, yeah, we can
Oh,
do it.
all right, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know, can you just shut the fuck up? Like, I'm trying to sleep, and I am hearing your fucking guitar just chug, chug, chug the entire night. It's so annoying. So, with that being said, over years and years of exposure, I was like, hey, it's kind of good. He was showing me um like very melodic metal bands. Like one of the biggest ones that he got me into was Asking Alexandria, and they had just dropped Stand Up and Scream. And I was like, oh my god, like this is actually good. And it sounds major, it sounds like, but it still has the contrast of Danny's like low lows and all his heavy screams to a really nice voice that you would hear in just regular active rock. Um, and then on top of that, I also had started getting into video games when I was probably like 12 or so. And my first gaming series that I really got into was Call of Duty. And in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, they have Avenged Sevenfold in
Hmm.
their soundtrack. And they were really heavily pushed for zombies. Like they were like part of the zombies campaign entirely. Um, so as I would, you know, play my video games, I'd just be wrecking kids on Call of Duty, and then I would just have my phone next to me playing some rock, and I was like, yo, this Shepherd of Fire song is like really cool. So I added it into my playlist, and then I was listening to Avenged Sevenfold radio and just kept, you know, spiraling deeper and deeper slowly, and just descending deeper into the metal abyss, as they say. But yeah, I think if it weren't for like the amount of things hitting me at the same time, like I could be in a different position. But also, I think it was always there. I
Yeah.
had always been also a very I don't want to say angsty is the word, but like very tooty kid. So
Yeah.
very moody. I always had like a taste for the darker stuff, like Skulls. I always loved Skulls when I was
Yeah.
younger. Um, So I think it just spiraled off from there.
Yeah, yeah. What I think is, really cool about what you guys do and your style of music, like in general, is like the anyone that says that like like it's easy or whatever, like you try it, right? Like I tried to do what you do like one time, like the training that is required to be able to make those sounds and then turn around and do like a melodic chorus like and then come back to it like all in one like that's physically intense.
It is. It is. And it drives me crazy when people like don't understand the amount of work that you have to do to get to that point. Like I I pretty much documented my entire metal journey. Like I have even on YouTube. I still post a bunch of stuff on YouTube, but back in I think it was I had to be 15. I don't remember what year. Maybe it was like 2017, I think, that I posted this video, but it was the final episode by Asking Alexandria. And it's a horrible video. It is absolutely terrible. I sound like trash, but like you can still see like the difference of what I sounded like 8 years ago until now. And it's crazy to think about. And like so many people ask me every day, like whether it's in the comments at a show, they just find me and they're like, how do you do that? And I'm like, man, you gotta train for it and you really have to want it because it's like muscle memory essentially. Riding a bike, even you have to fail in order to fix what you're doing and get the right sound to come out. Same thing, riding a bike, you gotta fall to get back up, right? I think it's the same kind of concept, and you just got to dedicate yourself to it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it definitely shows, right? Like it
Thank
definitely
you.
shows, and you can definitely hear it. And like even the presentation, like of the material. I think like today, like you have to be both audibly and visually, captivating to grow an audience. And I think what you and your band are doing is you're creating this brand that I think is pretty cool. And recognizable, to speak in the collaborations you're doing and everything else that kind of goes along with, just being a musician, right? It's not just playing music anymore. Can you talk a little bit about like how you guys are doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things that I try to say is we live in a dumpster fire world in the sense where you flip on the TV and the news is doomsday, right? You flip on your phone, social media is doomsday. Like everything always seems like it's falling apart and you can't get away from it no matter how hard you try. So what CJ and I have been trying to do with Deadlands is really like create a different world where you can at least for 3 minutes and 30 seconds forget about everything else that is going on present day. Because I know in myself I'm like I cannot handle any more bad news. Like from the wildfires to like personal crap, like it's just the political climate of today is it's all insane. And um as much as I think politics can be in music to a certain extent, I think us as entertainers, like we're supposed to be entertaining our audience and making them happy. Or I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be happy, it could just be any emotion that you're feeling. But like for me, I want my audience to just kind of feel a little relieved knowing that there is something else within the world other than doomsday.
Yeah, yeah. And it seems like you play in the sandbox really well with others. It seems like there's all these like collaborations you have, and it seems like you're pretty connected with your fan base. Can you talk a little bit about like that mindset and why that's important to you?
Oh, absolutely. I first and foremost, I think if you are not talking with your peers and trying to be friends with them and collaborate with them at the very least, like I think that you are not broadening your mind to other things. Like recently we had just dropped our single Kundalini with the Pretty Wild, which I think we spoke about in our email, if I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, yeah, fantastic. Loved it. Yeah, so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I fucking love the Pretty Wild so much. Like I don't have enough good things to say about them. And when we were working with them in the studio, like they were opening my mind to not only like music stuff, but they were opening my mind to like their spiritual stuff, which was really cool to experience. And just putting music on the back burner, like they had so much knowledge and so many cool things about them that just like really inspired me, um just to be better with myself, I guess. Like if you don't know them, like Jill, she is fucking hilarious. She's a spitfire, but she's a fucking ninja. Like she is a literal ninja, and she like does flips and shit, and she's ripped as hell. I'm like, dude, you're so sick. And Jules is so fucking creative, and she's a playwright in her like day job, which is also so fucking cool. And they were just telling me about all the things that they do, and the different culture, because Jill lives in LA and Julia lives in Orlando, and they both are like they're so different, but they're just so perfect as sisters. And just witnessing that was so fucking cool. And just any collaborations in general, like I feel like we need to be bouncing off of our peers. First of all, if you don't care about anything besides like the marketing aspect, you should be talking to your peers about that. You should be like, hey, what are the trends that you're seeing? Hey, what are you looking at this week? What are you planning to post? And you could get some really good feedback from that. But I think even deeper than that, we should all be trying to lift each other up, and um just for lack of a better word, just stop being bitches and just be homies. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. I love it.
nothing good comes out of drama,
Yeah,
other
yeah,
than publicity, and that's stupid. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I think.
I'm gonna start using that now. Stop being bitches and let's just all be homies. I love it.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Life
Yeah.
lesson to live by, man.
Yeah, yeah. Rich and I, my business partner in our studio here, we always say we want to do cool shit with cool people. I mean, if you just like bring it down to like boil it all the way down to that, and if it is that, then cool, then you probably should be doing it. If
Oh
it's
yeah.
not cool shit or not cool people, then you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Exactly. Is
Like
it
it makes
not
you
worth
feel.
your time?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, cool. So it sounds like, I mean, are you in terms of like collaborations, are you like looking for those, or does it kind of like just happen organically? And is that kind of like what you think like the future of your music and your art is going to kind of like be? How's that work into your everyday life?
I mean, honestly, it just kind of depends on the collaboration. I absolutely want to do more in the future. Um, with who I don't really know yet. Those like as far as the musical collaborations, I feel like those definitely come together more organically. Unless you're really like, oh fuck, I have this song that Corey Taylor would sound amazing on. But even so, like you still have to establish a relationship with that person, and you still have to, you know, you gotta hype them up too. Like when I reached out to the Pretty Wild, first of all, I didn't even think that they'd want to collab with us. But I was like, you guys are sick as fuck. And they were like, holy shit, like, what do you mean us? Like, you guys are awesome. So that is a way that it kind of just happened organically. Um, as far as like social media collaborations, like I always do try to take some more steps, especially because lately it's just been a little bit more difficult to keep on top of with the music popping off and everything. And it's all good things. Um, but I know like I would still love to collab with people a lot more than I do. And I actually have a very exciting collab coming tomorrow, which I'm like super stoked about.
Are you allowed to talk about it, or would we need you
I
save
no,
that for?
I Listen, it's just like a little social media collab. It's with Lauren Babick and Phoenix Studios, who they're the homies. All of them are the homies. And
Yeah,
like Lauren had reached out to me a few years ago, but I was just so busy and crazy, and I was like, dude, we got to collab one day for sure. Um, but finally, we have a little Lady Gaga goes metal version coming, and I'm so excited
awesome.
for it. It's gonna be fucking
Yeah.
sick.
That like just kind of like it reminds me of like how I think I first, came across you guys with some of the, like the mashups you were doing. I think it was Alien, like the song Alien by Katy Perry. Is that what it's called? E.T.
E.T.
E.T. Yes. That's when I first heard it and I was like, "Oh my God, like that's incredible." And your version of it was like incredible. And I was like, "That's what we really need to do this version for like the movie." And then you get into like that's impossible to license that. So let's find some, let's find some of their like original music. And I'm like, "Oh, the original music's better than that stuff." But I love all that kind of stuff that you guys are doing. Just taking different genres of music and mixing them in with like what you're doing and like the puzzle pieces that have to go together, to make things work. Like I'm sure you have a bunch of stuff that you try and you're like, wow, that didn't work. We probably shouldn't do that. And other stuff that you're like, well, that worked better than we thought it was going to.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, totally. I truly think like you first of all, the most important thing in music is to not sound like everybody else, which I think people are so caught up in just following the trends and like but I'll say this, Sleep Token isn't where they're at because they followed everybody else. Like Spirit Box isn't where they're at because they followed anybody else. All these bands that you look up to and that you listen to on the daily, like sure they could fit in the genre, but like they're all doing their own thing to set themselves apart. And I think especially with this new EP that we have cooking up, we really want to be very experimental with our sound, and we want to see where there's a lacking in music and where we can fill that gap. Um, from just a marketing standpoint, like talking like straight business, like that's what you do for a business. That's the way a business succeeds. Like if you found out, hey, people don't know how to put their hair up, like we don't have anything to do that, and then you're like, oh, I invent like the scrunchie or whatever, that fills the market, right? So and then flat out just as a person perspective, like the coolest thing that you could possibly do is be a leader and be a trendsetter rather than following everybody else into jumping off the bridge, as the expression is. If they jump off a bridge, would you? And it's like, no, I want to do my own thing, and I'm a stubborn bitch, so I will totally do that.
Yeah. Yeah. How is touring for you guys? You have like it seems like you have like a lot of dates, and you're kind of like going all over the place. Like how is that kind of like fitting into like your writing process and your collabing process, and just your creative process in general?
Yeah, touring can definitely have its ups and downs for sure, but I mean, uh I am used to touring in a tour bus with Nita Strauss, just for like my solo stuff with her. Um, but as for going in a van, like I thought it was gonna be so much worse than it was, but like it's really not that bad. Like we are also like super lucky to be able to have like a hotel room each night so we can shower, which is rare for most bands, which is insane. But overall, like we really enjoyed it. Like as much as there were the transportation problems on the last run, or just late nights, early mornings, it's still super rewarding to be able to get to the show and play in front of these people who really do give a shit about you and your music, and that's the best part of it.
Yeah, yeah. I had like this like this dream of like and you and I had talked about this like via email, like releasing our film, playing it in front of an audience, and then like kind of like piggybacking it with like a show, by you guys. I thought that would have been like the coolest thing ever. But like logistically, like it is so hard to make anything happen, let alone, like art amongst logistics, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's 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 incredibly difficult because you have to be in the right mindset. You have to be like, okay, now I'm creating, and then the next mindset is, okay, now I have to get said creation out to the public so that they can enjoy it in a way. Like, are you able to, kind of like turn on, it sounds like you can, like now I'm turning on the business side, now I'm turning on like the creative side and bounce back and forth between the two? Because I think that's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I'll say that much. But I'm still trying to find my groove with it. I think sometimes I went to school for business, so automatically, like that's like my default settings right there. And I think sometimes I can be a little tougher. Just in the business realm of trying to like, well, why isn't this like going the way that this should be going? And my, but meanwhile, like I should really be going with the flow and then building off of whatever happens. And I'm still trying to find my wins of that. Like I'm 22 and I still got a long way to go, but I think so far it's a decent balance. Um I think I do absolutely need to tap into my creative side a little bit more though.
Yeah.
Luckily, like on these breaks where we're not touring or doing anything for a little while, I can tap into my creative side and get to writing and do all the things that we want to do in terms of creating, designing, all that stuff. But it definitely gets more tricky on the road, let's say.
Are you ever gonna do like a graphic novel? Because I feel like with your, even your logo, your style, like it just screams for like a Deadlands graphic novel. Like I can see the characters already in my head of like who would be in that, and it would be freaking cool. I mean, I don't
Dude,
know, maybe you didn't, but I think it'd be nice.
I want so badly to do a graphic novel. I think that would be so cool. And I'm kind of sad because this EP, like in between each song, I wanted to have like a storyline going and I wanted to do like little short films in between the music videos because I thought that'd be super cool, but we just didn't have the time for it. So I was like, fuck. But one day, I don't think that is out of the question by any means whatsoever. I think that would be so fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate like the story that's in each one of your songs. Like, in fact, that was part of one of the reasons why I really was glad that, like we were able to put at least one of your tracks, as a bunch of them would have worked in our film, was like it fit like the narrative, kind of like of our film, right? Like you have like these like strong characters that are, kind of pissed off at the world and doing their own thing, to make it better, you know. And there's a fine line between right and wrong, at least in our movie there was, you know what I mean? Like it all depends on perspective,
Yep.
I guess you can say. And like I can hear within, like your songs, and like I, because I've really listened for like what is the story within each one of these, and they all kind of have like, like that life, that narrative life, behind them, which is incredible. In fact, like we picked we picked the one song House of Cards because I loved it. And then as soon as we got like that one, kind of like worked out, then you came out with your next release. I'm like, oh, that one's so much cooler. I wish we can go back in time and do that one. And then your one came after that. I'm like, okay, no, you picked like a good song to do. So I mean, is that like a big part of your writing? Is like the story or the technique of like the sound? Like what comes first and how do you put it together?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like with this EP specifically, the concept is seven deadly sins, right? So automatically we have a little skeleton of what we want to touch upon in the EP. But as far as like each song goes and each sin is written, like I am a very visual person, and I handle like most of the lyrics. So when I am, we'll have the melody or whatever, and that's great. But like, obviously, the story comes through lyrics. So when I'm really sitting down and writing, I have to kind of like be like, okay, what am I envisioning in my head, and then kind of put that into words without saying exactly what I'm thinking so it doesn't get confusing. Like it's like a whole delicate dance, I guess, of just trying to figure out what would make the imagery that I'm thinking of come to life without being so obscure that people can't relate to it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And your videos are so badass too, by the way. I don't know if it's the same director for every one of them or whether they're different, but they are amazing. Like they're
Thank
like
you.
high level, like just I think probably as good as anything that's out, like
Oh
visually
yeah.
and constructed together and the way you guys perform and the environments. I mean, they look like major productions, and it's awesome to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Black Wolf Imaging had done our villain music video and our House of Cards music video, and he is fucking on another level. Like he's worked with a ton of other bands, and he's great. Anytime I come to him with an idea, I'm like, "Yo, listen, we gotta like get this done," and he's like, "I'm on it. You got it. It's handled. Like we're gonna make it happen, and it's gonna be fucking sick." And he
Yeah.
always pulls it off. And then Kundalini was Mason Wright, who was I believe he actually plays guitar in the Pretty Wild too. So he's a jack of all trades. He's also insane. But like he also did a fucking phenomenal job with everything that he was given, especially with the amount of hats that he wears. Like and we're just so lucky to have such talented people around us. And one of the things that CJ says, like, if you are the smartest or most talented person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And I can never feel like I am in the wrong room with either of those parties. It's fucking great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're talking about so many, like your trajectory and so many like, like good things that are happening and all the great work that you're doing. But that doesn't come without challenges. And I always love to kind of like talk about that, a little bit. And you personally, like, what are some of the, like some of the roadblocks you're experiencing? Both professionally, creatively. What are the challenges? Like, what are things that can hold you back that you overcome, and things of that nature?
Yeah. I think something that I feel like I don't really talk about is my ADHD. Like I have
Mm.
pretty severe ADHD, and for some people they're like, "Oh, that's awesome. Like you can hyper focus on shit." And I'm like, "Not not really. I got to be like really fucking interested in it." And sometimes like when I'm just not in the mood to work, like it sucks. Like you feel so drained and mentally like you're just like, "Fuck, like I'm not doing anything." And ultimately like what it feels like is you have 1,000 things to do and it's like a mountain of things and you're like, oh my god, like I have to get to the top of this goddamn mountain and it's so daunting. And for me, like I it's hard, it is hard as fuck, because when you're breaking everything down into little I guess the size of your problems or the beginning of the tasks become little grains of rice in a fucking giant rice bowl, you're like, fuck, it definitely sucks. So that's probably like my biggest issue. But as far as like professional shit goes, it's been pretty good. I think I'm also still trying to navigate communication like with
Mm.
my manager, my label, like, all of us are still trying to work out the kinks and getting used to being like a signed band. So that I wouldn't say that's been the most difficult thing, but it's definitely just been a learning experience as a whole.
Yeah. What was the biggest change from being like, before you were signed and after you're signed? Like, what did you notice like right away that like life is going to change and how?
I mean, a positive would be like the immediate Octane what unveiling, I guess, the premiere. We had Villain as our first song on the label go straight to Octane. Like didn't even hit test drive, just went straight into full rotation, and we were like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
that's a pretty big statement for like, hey, like we're a brand new band on this label, and now the label has immediately like put us into Octane, and Octane said, fuck yeah, like we love this. And I think that's a great representation um of the teamwork that a good band and a good label can be. Um as far as a negative, I think the workload
Mm,
definitely like went up a bit. As much as I'm not keeping track of things as much as I was, like I wouldn't be keeping track of the album artwork or this drawing or this merch design or whatever. I still am doing that, but I feel like I'm also focusing on, the logistics of the label copy, like the paperwork and all that crap. So, um,
yeah.
is that necessarily a negative? I don't really know, but
No, I mean, I think it's
definitely,
just part of the business. I mean, that's
yeah,
just what it is.
yeah. And I think a lot of people don't realize, like, a lot of people think, oh, well, once we sign to a label, we'll be able to kick our feet up and they'll do all the work. And it's like, absolutely not. You are sorely mistaken. It is going to be doubled because the label is only going to work as hard for you as you work for it.
Yeah, and that I think that idea goes across industries. Like even like for me as an independent filmmaker, like just because you're working with like another studio on your particular film, when it comes to like putting it together, it's still on you, right? When it comes to like the marketing, like you still have to be a part of it. You still have to push it. You still have to promote it. You're just doing it with someone else, but you said it perfectly. You have to put in as much as you want to get out. Both parties are putting in, like to it. It's not like, I'm just going to make my stuff and go away. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You mentioned Villain being the first one that came out under the label. I think I saw a couple I think when that song came out like a couple weeks later, I think I saw a couple people doing their own version of it. Like I saw people doing like their own covers of it. Did you see any of those? How does that
I
feel
did.
when you see people doing your song but a cover of your song?
Oh, it's great. I love it. I love seeing the different renditions, and I also am like, oh, well, maybe I'll take that live. Like, I'll be able to use that. One of our friends, his name is Alex Carlin. Like, he's super talented. He honestly sounds like Brendan Urie when he sings. But he did this thing in his villain cover where he goes, oh my god, what is it? It's in the last verse. Spare your life instead of spare your life. So I now take his version and apply that live because I feel like it just brings another level to it. And even there's this one dude in House of Cards. He did a House of Cards cover, and I totally am blanking on his name. But he changed the rhythm of it a little bit to where instead I'm like the original is stacking the deck, but he will say stacking the deck. So I'm like, that's a cool pattern change. Like I love that. So I hope one day if they're standing in the audience listening to the show that they'd be like, hey, she got that for me. That's awesome. Like so I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. Well, cool, man. What else is so we talked about a lot of things that like you have coming up. Is there anything else that you kind of like want to promote or you want to bring up or how can we help you?
Well, man, first of all, thank you for even wanting to help. But we have literally, is it next week or 2 weeks? April 19th, we're going to be playing Lancaster, Pennsylvania at Launch Music Conference and Festival. The 20th, I believe we're going to be playing in Washington, D.C., and I think that's our first time. And then on Easter, unfortunately, we're going to be playing in Connecticut. So that's fun stuff. And then apart from all that, right after that, we're going to have our EP rolling out, which is great. Um, and then we have a tour with the incredible Scene Queen. And we're going to be opening for her. And she's going to have direct support from Girly. So it's going to be sick as hell. We got a lot of stuff coming up. And I'm very excited for it. And I just hope that we get more and more busy because that's always a good sign.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm definitely going to keep you in mind. I hope everyone else kind of should keep you in mind too as for acting roles as they come up, because that's how it gets done, right? You see someone, you see like, "Oh, I think they would be great for this particular character," or I could write great character for this individual. And that's how creativity happens. That's how character building happens. You just see it and you're like, okay, let's put some things together. Right. So,
Exactly.
so anyone, listening to this, yeah, call her up, or I don't know if call her manager, and they'll arrange something, get her on the screen. Cause I do think it's like a next level for you, which I think would be cool.
Thank you. I hope so. That'd be sick as
Yeah.
hell.
It was really great chatting with you, and again, thanks for doing this. It's always great to talk to other artists and listen to their process. So, like, it's a learning thing for me too, just to kind of like listen, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone thinks like in the process like it's intuitive, but it's not. Like just how you mentioned earlier, like you ping things off of your peers, right? And so like when you can just hear other people's journeys and other people's stories, and you can really like relate them to like, or fit them into kind of like what your journey is, and it's all very helpful. So thank you for sharing. It's cool to hear it.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. This is wonderful. I like there's a lot of unique questions, which I really appreciate. It's better than having the
Good.
same five. So
Yeah,
it's
good, good,
great.
good.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so very much.